Fewer with the free symbol says, former NATO response force member says control is simply freedom of movement and operation without active combat operations against them. They need control of the roads to link up. This isn't ambiguous, do homework. Okay, that's really stupid. Here's why what you said is stupid, and I know you donated, but you're really rude, and you say this isn't ambiguous, do homework. So what I said is, when you see things in the media saying that that the Russians have taken control of this city, I said it's not clear what that means, right? Because it could mean a lot of different things, right? And your response is that I'm an idiot and I need to do my homework because a NATO response force member says they have a specific definition of that. Well, fine, they have a specialized definition of that. But generally, the average person in the world doesn't think of it like that. So when the thing I'm reading to you is not a NATO report. The thing I'm reading to you is some article in the media. It's or a politician saying it. I'm not reading you a NATO technical statement. I'm reading you an article that says they've taken control, or a tweet from a reporter that says they've taken control, or a tweet from a politician that says they've taken control. I don't know how they're using that. That point should be obvious. That should be obvious to you. And it should also be obvious that part of this is that when you see a news report about this, that the audience has a certain thing in their head. And certainly I don't think the audience has that thing you said. So my point should have been pretty clear. And I don't think it's a controversial point. My point is that when a news report comes out or a politician says they've taken control, it's just not clear what they mean by that. We don't know. And you telling me that a NATO response force member, when they're in their armed forces world, has a specific definition for that, what do I care? It's irrelevant to my point. And yet you, rather than seeing that, you lecture me and you say, this isn't ambiguous, do homework. Because what you're doing is you're going, rather than ignore the easy, my point was not controversial. It was not a controversial point at all. And it's just, but you are going out of your way to come up with some way to say I'm an idiot. That's what you're doing. Rather than concede, you're like interpreting me in some other way, and you're just failing to acknowledge that, like, yeah, what you're saying is uncontroversial. You're like trying to come up with some way that what I'm saying is wrong. And your argument, the thing you're raising, the objection you're raising to me is just irrelevant to what I was saying. The fact that armed forces in their duties, when they're on control, when they're talking to each other on their headsets or whatever, have a specific use of the word control is completely irrelevant to my point about how the general public should interpret a news report or a politician making a comment to the media about control. I don't know how the news outlet is using it. I don't know how the politician is using it when they make a statement to the media. And most people don't do it that way. Most reporters, if they write, somebody thinks X is the country's in control of the city, they don't mean the NATO definition. And you should know this. Everything I'm saying is obvious. But you want to act all like a genius and act like you're so smart that you refuse to see that. And then you write this idiotic tweet saying, and rude, it's the rudeness is the great thing, the rudeness. And I don't care that you donated. Who cares? You're a rude jerk. You're a rude jerk. Couldn't care less that you donated. To lecture me and say, this isn't ambiguous, do homework. When your point is just, it's hard. I have to like sit here and take 5 minutes to explain what you're trying to say. But clearly it's not relevant to what I was saying, okay? So it's just stupid. It's just person with 3 symbols. You know, come on. Just the lecturing me when This is the internet. This is the internet. The people who are rudest to you and say you're being an idiot, inevitably, the people who are rude to you and as a creator and say you're wrong, you're an idiot, and they act all haughty, inevitably they're the ones who are saying something stupid. It never fails. It never fails. The rudest people who are rudely telling you I'm an idiot, who are rudely telling me I'm an idiot, inevitably they're saying something really stupid. And this is just again and again and again. And then I have to sit here and try to walk them through how stupid they're being. So again, it's the two things. It's the rudeness combined with the thing you say you're right about, you're just wrong about, and it's obvious. And yet you're rudely arrogant about it. This is covering stuff online in a nutshell. It really is. It never fails. It never fails. The people who are rudest and lecturing you and say stupid stuff like, do your homework. And then he says, do your homework. This is war coverage, not average vocabulary coverage. No. We're talking about a news report. We're talking about what does a news outlet say. You're not understanding my point. You're saying like, NATO people, when they are like in their tank talking on their walkie-talkie, they have a word that they have something they mean by control. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when a big news outlet puts out a news story, they're not talking to NATO. They're not using this. People use words with different ways. People use the same words in different ways. The way somebody who works in a field uses a given word can be very different than the way an average person uses that word. That's not controversial. That happens all the time. There's all kinds of, in law, that happens. There's in every field this happens where people use a word in life and then they use it specifically in another way. This is not a controversial point. This is not a stream. My point was not my point was obviously not how are the army people using that. Did I say that? Did I say, boy, when the armed forces say the word control, they don't know what they mean by it? Of course I didn't say that. I was saying, what does it mean when you see it in an article or a news report? But yet you keep saying this garbage. And then you back it up and then you stupidly donate more because you think, I'm going to just donate more. But then you just make yourself look more like an idiot. So, donate all you want. Give me money, waste your money, highlight your stupid comments and make yourself look more like an idiot. But you're just not listening to what I'm saying. And your point, you can keep repeating your point. I've already explained why it's wrong. And you're just going to look more stupid. But again, it never fails. It never, ever fails. The people who rudely tell me, if you're a creator, the people who say, you're an idiot, you're stupid, you're getting it wrong, and they're rudest about it, inevitably, they're just wrong and saying something really stupid. It just never, ever fails. It's amazing. It's just amazing. Wow. And this is not a troll. I get people who say, don't feed the trolls. This person's not a troll. This person is not trying to disrupt. This person thinks they're so smart. And they think, I'm going to show this person how smart I am. And it's just in their wanting to seem smart and excessively high opinion of themselves, they just don't realize that they're just completely missing the point. I guess their brain is too busy thinking of how smart they are and how rude they want to be and not thinking enough about the basic point I'm making. It's amazing. It's just amazing. Again and again and again. It never fails. The rudeness of it all. I don't have a, I mean, somebody could say, somebody could make a point and they can disagree with you. Fine, I don't care. But it's the rudeness to literally say, this isn't ambiguous, do homework. F you. You're telling me this isn't ambiguous, period, do homework. Go F yourself, seriously. Go F yourself. Okay? That's just, it's, you're just being an effing A is what you're being. That's what you're being. You're an effing A. I can tell you're an effing A. That's what it is. No one else would say that unless they're an effing A. That's what you are. So there you go. Okay, anyways. Let's continue.